Hi there, I'm Muscle Rome, and today I want to talk with you about room acoustics, and I want to show you how my room sounds like with or without absorbers. I have very bad sounding room. I had ping pong echoes in my room and some ringing frequencies which were holding on for a very long time, so it was very disturbing. I decided to build my own absorbers and bass traps. You can see them here. It's a ceiling absorber and bass traps at the corner of my room. First, I have built a ceiling absorber, and as I have put it to the place, I was hearing the great difference. So I thought, why shouldn't I make a video with some test recordings in that room and just use several absorbers and bass traps? So if we take a look at my project here, then you can see here empty room track. It's not really empty room. It's just my room without any absorbers because there are some furniture in this room and so on. Then I have here the ceiling absorber, and it's very interesting to hear it. Then I have two more bass traps and ceiling absorber, and then I have all the four bass traps and ceiling absorber. I have made my ceiling absorber just by putting some synthetic fabric in it. It was fleece, and I made several layers of this fabric, maybe 8 centimeter thick, and yeah, this absorber was supposed just to cut the reflections of the ceiling. It was supposed to change a lot acoustic in my room, but on the sweet spot where I'm sitting and hearing of my monitors, it's important to cut these reflections, and as I did it, I noticed that the difference in sound was great. And I have made my bass traps using rock wool. It was 40 kilogram per cubic meter rock wool, and this material kills low frequencies pretty good. In my project, I have compensated the loudness because every time I put some new absorber in my room, it was getting less loud. So here you can see this gain plugin. It just compensates this loudness. Because if you compare something A B, you should always do it in the same loudness. It's very important. And then I will show you sometimes this wonderful equalizer of a fab filter with analyzer, and you will see here this bands, this frequencies, which are basically issue frequencies of my room, and you will notice that it's happening all the time that these frequencies sounding or just looking too strong, or maybe getting actually always getting weaker if I put some absorbers in that room. So we are starting now with music, and at the end of the video I have also some test audio. So if you like music, we will just start with music from Madonna. I like this track very much because it's my favorite um, my favorite reference track, and some kind of test audio, because this arrangement has a lot of sweeping tones going up and down. And if you know how it sounds like, you will always notice if some frequencies are too strong, or you miss some frequency because of headphones, speakers, or if it sounds just different in your room. So I just took this wonderful piece. I will always let you hear some loop of the same audio, just to be able to compare directly. And it's like without absorbers, ceiling absorber, two additional bass traps, and four additional bass traps. You will see it on the picture also. Maybe you noticed that the fourth track with all the absorbers has much more higher frequencies, somewhere about 10 kilohertz. I've marked it here. It's mostly about frequency cancellation at the higher range by the tracks 1 till 3. I have compared the original audio with these recordings, and I have made here with EQ match. I have made the comparison of frequency response, and it was just a lot of frequency cancellation on these 3 tracks. And it's just getting better here, and maybe it's a little bit too much, but it's still more flat, and it's important for me. I should say also that my monitors, they had always a low cut of 1 decibel, and I didn't change this setting to be able to compare, but I think now I could maybe even take some highs away, because there are no more a lot of noise in the lower range. Yeah, we will take a look on one next place, and here try to hear of bass drum which repeats very fast some notes. You will hear how much room reverb comes on that bass drum. Bass drum. Yeah, I hope you can hear the difference. Yeah, we can take a look on some sweeping piece here. Are you able to hear this frequency without, with, solo? Because if you're young. If you are above 40 and you can hear this frequency, write me a commentar. So one more place here. Now I play maybe a little bit of this composition. Or maybe like here. Yeah, I have one more track here. It's my remix of Eleanor Rigby by Beatles. And yeah, this arrangement has much more reverb, so it's almost getting worse with my room. We take here some piano sample. It's reversed, and you must notice here these bends. Maybe you notice that if piano gets louder, it's just a lot of energy here. If you're hearing of my room, and much less with absorbers. because these frequencies 80 hertz and 123. It's the worst frequencies, and 40. It's the worst low frequencies of my room modes of my room. So one more example. Yeah, maybe you notice if I switch from here to there, that in the higher range there are a lot of highs which just getting lost because of cancellation. So one more example. Yeah, and a little bit more of this arrangement, maybe. Except the rice in the church where a wedding is me. Lives in a dream, waits at the window, wearing the face that she keeps in a jar by the door. Who is it for? Where do they all come from? Where do they all belong? Maybe you notice that a lot of instruments just coming in front of you, and singer, as a voice is coming in front of you if you are here, and it's just somewhere behind if you hear it through my room. So these were music examples, and if you have more patient, and if you'd like to know what happens in my room detailed, I have some test audio here. I have created some massive test tone, and if you it sounds like this, and this oscillator, it makes like only sinus wave. You can see here it's just like main frequency, and no overtones. And here it's less loud. It's a little bit of what I have here. It's a little bit of saw. Yeah, it's a saw wave. You can see here a lot of overtones, and if I combine these two oscillators, then you can see I have a lot of energy here and just a little bit of overtones. What happens if I play it? If I play it deep, then yeah, then I have a lot of energy in my room in low in low end. And now we can hear how it sounds like. You can see the names of the octaves here. Contra octave. Maybe you can notice then that you are able to hear a little bit more of high frequencies here in on that track. So it's a great octave. Try to notice what happens here. It's just it's not like these frequencies are disappeared, but they are just not as sharp as here. So, and it's interesting question where you are able to hear the pitch of the notes, the difference, because the it's always it's here like a chromatic scale, and try to find out where are you able to hear the difference between half tones. Yeah, maybe you notice that somewhere in that area you're able to hear the difference between notes, and here it's just a lot of resonant, and it sounds like you're playing here just two notes or something. Yeah, it's just completely different. So small octave. Yeah, small octave is basically the range where male voices are basically, and yeah, it's very important to make it sound clear. And here the first line, or you can call it here the first note. You can call middle C. Notice these ringing frequencies, yeah, they're marked here. Just compare these two. Can hear the ringing here. Yeah, the next octave. Yes, you can hear. It's a lot of clear frequencies here, so you can recognize the pitch much better. Because here it's a lot of energy on that sine wave, and it sounds like mess. Third line. You can hear on that track a lot of resonance here also. Yeah, I don't care what happens much higher. So I must basically be able to hear my monitors in that room, and sometimes recording my voice. So I will play the whole test audio and just switching between all the tracks. Yeah, I think you can hear the difference, and you can see it also here. There is one more thing that I wanted to show you, and it's about ringing frequencies. Um, Try to hear this range and try to find out if you hear some frequencies of the room besides the main tone of my synthesizer. If you hear something like something like this, then you have heard the two very badly ringing frequencies here, and just to make you hear it stronger, I'm making it a little bit louder. Yeah, and yet I'd like to compare the tracks. Try to compare empty room and just ceiling absorber, and notice how long the decay of the resonant is. Maybe you can hear that this resonant is much shorter with a ceiling absorber, and actually you can hear this resonant this one you can hear also with all the absorbers. It's just yeah, it's still there, but it's no more such strong, and it's no more such long decay as here. Um, So try to imagine if you have a bad sounding room and you are trying to mix something, yeah, and what happens here is basically that this instrument actually plays here, yeah, and all the stuff that is here in that area, it comes from your room. So if you have here something like bass drum and bass guitar, you have a lot of energy here, and your room will give you much more feedback here, and you don't need it actually. And then try to imagine what happened uh, if you have here in that area your acoustic guitar, and you try to find out what's the balance between bass guitar, drums, and acoustic guitar, and you can hear your acoustic guitar, right, because there is a lot of ring frequencies resonance here. It's really disturbing, and there are a lot of people, also professional people, that say you can measure your room. You can take something like pink noise and measure your room, and create the profile of your frequency response, and you can apply this profile on some plugin on your output, and then you can avoid the problematic frequencies coming from your speakers. So in that case, you have actually the more flat frequency response, or yeah, a more flat equalization. But try to imagine if you do something like this, then you're actually doing something like this on your output, and it's a good idea not to feed your room with the wrong frequencies, which gives you a lot of ringing. Yeah, it's good idea, but if you mix something like this and you have acoustic guitar here, then you make your acoustic guitar, your good frequencies, much lower, and you don't really hear your acoustic guitar anymore. You don't really hear how it sounds like if it's in balance with your other instruments. So if you uh, just uh, if you just correct your equalizer on your output, it's just not the best solution. My point is, if you if you are able to improve your room acoustic, then you should do it for sure, because then you can avoid something like this. If you're going to make something like home theater um, or so, then it's maybe a good solution to make something like this, to apply your equalization. But if you're working professionally and you mix and master, it's not the right decision to do something like this. Yeah, try to think about it and decide if you need something like this. If you'd like really to improve your room acoustic. I think it's clear that the sound is um, getting much better with every of that steps. And yeah, I can tell. I also made measurements with the program Room Wizard, and I'm trying to compare these measurements, and I can see very clear that this low frequencies which we're hearing here, or these ringing frequencies, they're getting just much weaker, and they and this decay of these frequencies getting shorter. Yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for your patience. Sorry for my English. I hope you were able to understand me, and I would be happy to know that you liked it. So don't forget to like it, and I would be glad to hear from you if you have something to discuss, or you have questions. Just don't hesitate to write me. Um, and yeah, thank you very much, and bye bye.